All right, so if you'll get out your rough draft and your outline and you're researching the issue, we'll go over exactly what it is that we need to do, and then we're going to kind of work backwards today. Because I know we usually do SSR at the beginning of the class period, but for time's sake, and because I want you guys to be able to get this typed and use the computer access, we're going to go backwards. So when you finish typing your final copy, then you'll be able to go back and do your SSR for today. So you'll have probably a good 10 minutes or so. So we'll work first and second period through the typing. First thing I want you to do is get out your researching the issue. We're going to double check that we have everything and that when we're turning things in, we have that all. So researching the issue and then the outline card where you research the facts. That is one thing that you are going to turn in together. The second part to that you're going to turn in is you're going to go to the integration lab. She's not there. Okay, run to the office and ask them where Ms. Natali is, that you're supposed to be working in the computer lab with her first period today. Okay, because her office is in the office. All right, so the second thing that you're going to need for your turning in stuff is your outline. Okay. The outline is where you went from looking at the facts and putting them on paper with your articles to writing out kind of what you were going to put in your paper all together. Okay, so get that out. That needs to go along with it. And the third thing that we are going to have is our rough draft that we're going to turn in. You're turning in all this so that I can double check that you went through the steps of the writing process. And so all of this will be turned in after you turn in your final copy on the computer with Google Classroom. Okay, so you'll staple it all together, you'll put it in the basket, that will be a daily grade, and then this final copy will be a major grade as part of your EA. Okay? So before we get in the computer and type, we're going to take your rough draft version that I should see lots of markings on with the highlighting and the underlining and everything that you've done. Okay? And we're going to exchange with a partner. And when you exchange with your partner, you are going to take on your outline, on the very back side, is a question list. You are going to give them your question list so that you get this information back and that you can look at it. All right? As you go through, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to read through their rough draft in totality. Okay? Make sure that you read everything first, and then you're going to go back for editing errors and things like that.
This is for day of service.
Okay, so it goes in the different parts, and the rebuttal paragraph is up here, so you know that that happened after our body paragraphs, and that's fine. So to ask you for the introduction, was there an attention grabber? Well, hopefully they did what we asked them to do and circled their hook, which is their attention grabber, and then that you see that there. Read it. Does it answer those questions? Does the introduction provide the brief background between the hook and the thesis statement? Did they explain what the topic is? Because remember, we talked about, I don't know anything about your topic. Even if I do, I'm going to pretend that I don't. And I want you to give me a 2 to 3 sentence summary of what is euthanasia, what is state testing, what is capital punishment. And that's what you've given me in between the hook and your thesis. And then they've underlined their thesis statement. What I really want you to look at specifically in their thesis statement is, number one, did they state a specific side? Okay, or did they say, oh, capital punishment can be good and bad? Because if they said that, you need to go back and say, okay, pick a side underneath, okay? And then secondly, did they address their topics? So did they say it is bad because of this reason and this reason? Because those two reasons, are they going to be followed up in their body paragraphs, all right? In their body paragraphs, we're looking for a clear topic sentence, which again should be underlined, okay? We are looking for insightful sentences and elaboration, so that's your commentary that they've elaborated on. You're looking for a quote embedded in from one of their articles, and I want you to double check them to make sure that they've done it correctly. Did they use proper parenthetical documentation? And if not, make little notations on there so that they know. This is where they're getting the feedback from someone else's eyes so that they're able to go ahead and figure out what to do. And then checking for the appeals, and then making sure the transition words are there and a good concluding sentence. We're doing that for both body paragraphs. Getting to the rebuttal paragraph, is there a clear topic sentence again? Again, is there a quote being used? And again, are they wrapping it up with the commentary and telling you, I recognize this side, but here is why they are still wrong, okay? Because that makes for a good rebuttal paragraph. Finally, their conclusion and their overall appeals that they're using in their essay, you're really just checking yes or no, and you're making little marks on their rough draft. And that being the reason why we skipped lines, so that you can write little notes to them, or you can write misspelled word or SP for spelling, check your spelling on this kind of stuff, punctuation and grammar and that kind of stuff, because sometimes it takes a second pair of eyes to really catch those things. And then the computer will kind of be your third set of eyes, because a lot of times will catch some of your grammatical and spelling mistakes too. Who did I take this from? Okay, so any questions on what we did rough draft wise? Who did not finish rough draft? Highlighting and whatever else. We all have our rough draft written. Oh, y'all are perfect. Okay, good. So then the second thing we're going to do is split up. Okay, let's go ahead and let's have you two sit at a table, if you'll move to a table, and Eric and Katie, if you'll go sit at that table, and then we'll all be in twos today so that we can split up. So Katie and Eric, you'll go sit right behind where Eric's at. Brenna, you'll go sit with Libby behind her. Take your stuff with you. I would recommend a red pen. Now remember, while you are while you are going over their rough draft and figuring out what it is that you can help them with, you are not just saying it's a perfect paper, because is it going to be a perfect paper? So please remind them of little areas that they can change. Hey, this sentence didn't make sense, subject-verb agreement, stuff like that. And also spelling and grammar mistakes are big things that we're looking for. We're really looking for sentence flow and continuity of the paper to make it make sense. If it doesn't make sense to you, then it's probably really not going to make sense to me either. And so we're really going to take time and look at these kind of things. When you are done with your rough drafts, you may move on to give it back to the other person, have them read your mistakes, and then you may get a computer and start the typing process. Let me show you real quickly where it is that I want you to type. You're going to pull up Google Classroom. If you have not been in Google Classroom for this assignment yet, that's okay. There was just stuff to print up until this point. It's the first assignment that you come to. It's called Persuasive Essay. If you click on the one that says Persuasive Essay Google Docs, it will automatically make you a copy of where it needs to be. I want it Times New Roman, 12-point font, which it is already set on, and double spaced, which it is already set on. Obviously, you are replacing your name in ILA. This is block 1, and we'll use tomorrow's date. And then the only thing you're changing out here is from topic. You put in your topic. Okay? If you scroll down to the bottom, it's just a reminder about your bibliography. You're using your websites. You should have at least 3 websites that you're putting in there. One from each article, and then one or more where you found the facts from. Okay? And actually you have a third article, so maybe you have 4. Make sure that you're citing your sources. You may use EasyBib.com or citationmachine.net. Either one of those are acceptable, and put it in the MLA format. Make sure you're clicking MLA format, and also make sure that you're clicking use URL in the citation, okay? And then you're putting them in alpha order. So what you're going to do here is you're deleting just these 2 lines, putting your bibliography in alpha order. Questions on bibliography or where to type it? It automatically makes you a copy so that, and then in the top screen where mine says share, yours will say, what does it say, submit or turn in? Does it say turn in? Okay, turn in. Okay, so remember, first thing we're going to do, you give them your rough draft and you give them your check sheet. Hand that across the table to the other person. Other person with your red pen, I want you to read it first and then go back and make corrections for them and make the check marks. You read it in full first. Just for reference, I'm going to keep this pre-AP editing and revising up here so you can know and remember what things are. Quotes should be underlined in red, counter argument should be in green, so on and so forth. You're giving your partner the check sheet, your check sheet, and your rough draft, and she'll give you hers. Read through it first before you start making corrections. have a question for them about one of their words, you can ask them.
So you can close or do that then you question. So you have your intro,
Intro, reason 1, reason 2, and reason 3, and then rebuttal.
okay, so just pick your 2 best reasons, leave out the third one, and then do the rebuttal in place of. I think that's because on this, that one part, it says it put 2 or 3 things in there, and it should they put 2 and for the reasons. So yeah, just pick your 2 best body paragraphs, leave those, do your rebuttal and your conclusion, so you got 5.